Okay, are we good? I think we're good. We're green.
Hmm.
We are having a little bit of issues. Let me shut down some stuff that might help. Uh-oh. Twitch keeps going down, but YouTube's still going.
Well, that's good. Really hope that works out.
I don't know what's going on though.
You would know more than I do.
Having some frame drops. Let me see here. Give me a second. Let me see on this end how everything looks. I'm making sure everything.
Yeah.
I don't want them to miss out too much of the podcast, but man. We'll do a be right back until we can solve it. Okay, we should be running fine again. We'll be back in a couple seconds. Just chat in the comments if we're up and running again. Okay, we should be back. There we go.
All right.
We just had to switch Wi-Fi connections because we were on the basic one, but that one kept crashing, but the 5G one is working fine. So
All right.
we are good. Okay, so we last left off talking about Rodor Keen and Astawa Maru butting heads. That's where we left off. So, like we were saying, it's basically because they have the same role, essentially. So, I guess, do we want to go back to what was going on then? I guess.
Yeah, I suppose so.
So while Velko is getting a layout of the medical facility, one of the patients
reacts
very badly,
poorly to some of the treatment going on.
Yeah,
has a bit of a seizure, which is not medically recommended,
and also is choking Okana.
Shit out of either Okana.
It's Okana.
It's Okana. Oh.
Yeah.
And they're like, we should probably do something about that.
Sweet. Thank you, thank you, Luna.
Thank you.
So yeah, that happens.
Yeah, I forget if this is the first time we see Tartfin just go for a gun.
Yeah, Tartfin goes for a gun, but is knocked out. It gets a concussion in the process for doing so. Velko, however, manages to grab the injector and stabilize the patient.
Does a nice little combat roll.
Yeah. Do a roll. Come on, you gotta get those Elden Ring skills in. You gotta roll. Roll.
She rolled through the attack.
Yeah. And then, as everything seems to be calming down, there is a scream. We can't, like you were saying to me in the messages, Starlight cannot go a day without something happening.
10 minutes. It's not even a day, it's 10 minutes. Can Starlight Beacon just have something go right for 10 minutes? The answer
is no.
But that's kind of because of how the nature of stories work.
So that brings Velko back to Ambassador Cyril's room, where his guard droid has been decapitated and he has been shot.
Yep.
And that's part one.
That's the end of part one.
So thoughts going up at this point?
God, I was at this point. I was like, the entire thing. He's like, I'm worried the Hissarians will get me.
Did you think the Hissarians got him at this point?
No. I was like, even if they did, why would they fucking do it here? When they shoot you as you were getting in your car, not in the middle of your ship, not in the middle of the hospital ward. Because that seems like a bad plan.
That has not stopped people from trying to kill people in hospitals before.
No. But I'm like, why wouldn't you wait until he was leaving if that was your plan?
Well, get him while he's vulnerable.
Yes.
So that
attack the man on a station full of Jedi and Republic security.
I mean, but he is health vulnerability, rather, is what I mean.
You just up the medicine dose. You don't do something as public as shooting the bastard.
Well, part 2 is going to reveal what happened.
Yeah.
Because now, Velko, Avar Chris, and Maru, Buryaga, basically the whole staff is on high alert now to be like, okay, what happened? We need to figure out, because this is a diplomatic incident. Yeah. And obviously we can't have that on Starlight Beacon.
Yeah. Hey, you know that place where we're trying to make everyone feel all unified and shit?
We probably shouldn't have them killing each other.
Yeah. Having that happen seems counterintuitive to our goal.
Unfortunately, the security footage has been scrubbed.
Yeah. But only 3 seconds.
Yeah. It's between Velko running out of the room to help with the seizure patient and then Velko running back in.
Yep.
Yeah, to the bodyguard being shot rather.
Yeah.
Obviously, like we said, everybody's kind of concerned about the idea that this is a diplomatic incident.
Especially Keen. Keen was like,
yeah, because Keen's like, man, why did it have to be today?
He's also like, secondly, who planned this? Who was like, we'll put the two intensely the intense political rivalry between these two.
Yeah, the Hissarians and yeah.
And they put them essentially like right across the hall from each other.
Yeah, and of course, Cyril, the ambassador, is very adamant that it is the Hissarians. Proof provided by the bodyguard droid having a fist of the Hissarian's hair.
Yeah.
However, this story does not quite work.
Yeah.
Because both the Hissarians are still, as we said in part 1, recovering from injuries themselves.
Yeah.
During the Wazda emergence. Because that's why most of these people are. We probably should have talked about that. Most of the people that are in the medical facility are here because of emergencies.
Yeah.
So that is that.
And the emergencies tend to fuck people up pretty hard, assuming they survive at all.
Yeah. So, basically, Velko is put in charge of the investigation.
And like, here, figure it out.
Yeah. While Avar has to write up some reports.
Yeah.
And
she's like, well, I can't really break the rules
to figure this out, but hey, Maru, maybe you could lead the right direction.
And she's like,
and Maru basically points out to Velko, hey, there's evidence that you can find somewhere, I know.
And she's like, well, I can give you essentially the pass card to go and get to that area for reviewing stuff.
Yeah, like, because basically the bodyguard droid has been put into evidence, and he's like, well, it's against the rules for me to give you it, but that doesn't mean my droid can't.
Yeah, he's like, my droid has the authorization to go and do an autopsy. Even though I can't give it to you, and you technically shouldn't be, but my droid can perform the autopsy and get you in there.
Yeah, he's just like, my droid can do it, and if you just happen to follow my droid, follow my droid in there,
I'm not responsible, and
I've got stuff to do back on the bridge.
Yeah.
So
anyhow, have a nice day.
Yeah, I love Maru.
Yeah, like, I'm technically not breaking the rules, but you know what? We'll just put this under the table and we'll forget about it.
Velko and the droid, during the autopsy, figure out who the assassin is, and they have proof.
Mm-hmm.
And we are not immediately given that proof. It's very much one of those. Oh my goodness, it's this person. And then next scene.
The same thing a lot of detective movies do that I find really.
I kind of.
In which they don't give you.
I think that
until it's.
Well, they gave.
Supposedly relevant.
They gave some of the evidence, but.
They didn't give you the crucial bit.
Yeah, I think you can figure it out. I mean, like you said, you already figured it out in part 1, essentially.
It was weird, and then I figured it out, and I was like, I don't fucking care, man. Like, it's not that the story is bad.
No.
It's just that I'm like, there's other shit to worry about, man.
Well, obviously, we have the bigger picture. For them, this is a big deal.
Like, this is the biggest deal, and I'm like, you don't know.
Because this,
the storm is coming, and you don't fucking know.
Wasn't Buryaga with Velko during this?
It might have been, I think.
Yeah, Buryaga was with Velko during the case with Casey and finding the evidence. That's right.
He doesn't do anything, but
yeah, Buryaga's just there.
Yeah, like, I don't have anywhere else to be.
So
they go back.
They go back to the ambassador's room, where basically Velko has called everybody there and is like, all right, time for me to do the big detective reveal of who it is. It was the ambassador all along.
Yeah, and they're like, this is a pretty good plan.
Yeah, because so let's discuss what the plan was. So he rigged his droid to self-destruct after shooting him with the bolt just strong enough to maim him.
Yeah.
And then also had the evidence of the fur and of the hair in the droid's hand, which would hopefully lead them into the right direction that he wanted. Yeah. Unfortunately, the droid's memory banks were not erased, and since the head was survived because it was decapitated,
it was not decapitated.
Well, no, the head was decapitated from the body, but the head wasn't destroyed.
I don't recall it saying decapitated. Oh, okay.
Yeah, but since the memory was in the droid's head,
I thought they just found evidence of essentially the blasting powder that they used.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, yeah, it's real clever how you put blasting powder inside your droid's head to make it look like it got...
Oh, yeah, that's right, yeah.
And it's also funny how we were able to find enough essentially blaster juice left for, like...
Yeah.
The leftovers of someone being shot.
Yeah, but the droid also, like, they were able to, kind of look at...
I think that's
the tapes.
Confirmation.
Yeah, the tape. Yeah, they found the tapes on the droid's memory banks, and they were like, "Yeah, you should have erased your droid's memory banks if you're going to do this kind of scheme."
That's
so instead of spending the ambassador's time in the hospital wing, they are now going to spend the rest of their stay in the detention center.
Yep. They can have a nice trip there.
And so as
I don't know if you can arrest people on
that. But of course, as we wrap up the story, Rodor Keen's like, "All right, how do you want to? Would you like to finish your tour?" Unfortunately, a distress call happens coming from the Kozlin system, and they immediately have to get right back to work, which that will lead us into the comic.
All right.
So, thoughts on this short story?
It was good. I think part of it is
it's a micro story and not a macro story. It's part of the micro of the day-to-day affairs. Whereas because we know stuff that's going on later, the macro of it makes it seem like it's not a big deal, but it is and it isn't.
Yeah.
Like, it's a big deal in the sense of, yes, it's important that this is dealt with because this can cause problems later.
Yeah.
But because we know the macro of the Nihil being a bigger issue, we're more concerned of why are we dealing with this? But I think it's still a good story to see the day-to-day.
It's a good story, and if I had read it first, I probably would have been more
invested,
excited, and invested about it.
Yeah.
Alternatively, it may just be work schedule that's fucking killed me.
Yeah. But
it's not a bad story.
And this one was written by Cavan Scott, who is the author of the next mainline book that we're going to read, Rising Storm. He's the one that writes the big Galactic Fair incident. He also is known for the Adventures in Wild Space books.
Can I just take a guess at what happens at the Galactic Fair?
Let's save that to the episode just before we do that.
Okay. I also have a question for you, sort of, before we finish up.
Yeah.
So, we know that Gal Tartfin is a traitor.
Yeah.
Does it bring you any satisfaction to retroactively
see Gal get knocked out?
Yes.
A little bit.
Like, the thing is, they were...
It also hurts me more seeing Velko and Gal become friends.
You see, the thing is, for me, in regards to that, I was like, okay, so you scrambled some footage and ran away. And... in terms of shit I've seen the Nihil do, that's pretty low.
Yeah. Like, honestly, it kind of just bugs me that Gal was a traitor because it doesn't fit, like, what we were introduced to, but I guess we don't really know their, reasoning. Maybe they were a Nihil all along.
I don't know their life.
But yeah. All right, well, that is this week's episode. Next week, we will be looking at the High Republic, Volume 1 of the comic, which is I just brain. There Is No Fear, which is the first 6 issues of the High Republic mainline comic.
All right.
Where we are going to get a lot more Avar Kriss. We are going to get some Drin gear. We're going to get... What else we getting? We get some new characters. We get some Skier.
Okay.
We get some Skier. And that's kind of what to look forward to next week. Anything you'd like to say before I do all of our pushes? Anything? Any final thoughts?
Not really. I'm looking forward to like binging Kenobi.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun. We're almost caught up to a lot of the High Republic stuff that we haven't done yet.
I think so far the High Republic's been pretty interesting.
It's a fun time era to kind of look at, especially knowing like where the Jedi end up and the Republic end up. I'm curious to see how they get there.
Yeah, but someone, for the love of God, please get these motherfucking Nihil. They gotta go.
All right. So I do want to make an announcement.
Yeah.
Since we're live, I do want to bring up that tonight at let me make sure I get the time right. I believe it is 5.
Yeah.
With 5 p.m. PDT actually. Oh, so that sorry, my brain is stupid. My brain is being a bit dumb. So that would be 7 our time. Okay. Oh, we got plenty of time then.
Oh.
I was trying to figure out my schedule for today, but that works out even better. So at 7 Central, which is our time, I will be joining the Dyad for their podcast. So if you wish to watch that when it comes on, that will be on the channel Element 7. And we are going to be... we're just going to be discussing a lot of stuff that we talked about today, as well as some other stuff. And so that's going to be fun. And it's my first time being on somebody else's podcast, like that I'm not like producing in some...
It's your first time being like an actual guest.
Yeah, it's my first time being an actual guest and not being part of the production team of a podcast. Yeah. So I'm really excited to share that with everybody. So be sure to check out that tonight at 7 our time. And that...
I just gotta go hang out at the neighbor's house for like 3 days.
And so yeah, so it'll be interesting being on that as a non-producer for once, and that's gonna be fun. So be sure to join us on that. That's Element 7 is the YouTube channel, and that's gonna be at 7 our time, 5 Pacific.
Yeah.
All right, and outside of that, thank you guys for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe if you're on our YouTube, which is youtube.com/Escape Reality Films. If you are watching on Twitch, that's twitch.tv/CJ Star Wars 94. Be sure to follow or subscribe, or both. Both is preferred. Every little bit helps. And if you really want to show us a little bit of financial support, you know, that helps us get the stuff that we read. That helps us, you know, make sure, I mean, eventually maybe pay Seth to be on the show. Probably myself first, though, because
probably.
Yeah, if I can pay myself first, that would be great.
Yeah.
Do this full time. If you want to help with that, that is patreon.com/Escape Reality Films. The first tier gets you access to our Discord, where you'll find us chatting. You'll get to read some of the stuff with us, because we talk about it a lot of the time. Not as much lately, because we've been doing short stories, but when we do novels, we'll talk about it as we're reading.
Yeah. We don't count short stories for the race.
Yeah, the race. Yeah, it doesn't count for short stories, because that you can do in like maybe 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Even though we've been reading 2 short stories at a time.
Yeah, they still don't count.
And then thank you to Mobcast Network and Gamers and Geeks for providing the space where we get to have our podcast. Without them, we would just be doing this at my house.
Yep.
And
That's
so
against your house, man.
but there's not as much room, and also I don't have all the stuff yet that I would like to have to professionally run this.
I don't know.
And
I was just checking something.
yeah, no, you're good. Oh, and if you want to show them support, be sure to check out youtube.com/Mobcast Network, where where I help produce and am on their shows. We've got Cult Movie Cantina, where this week we are doing our cult meeting, where we're just gonna hang out, talk about. I'm not sure what we're gonna talk about.
We're talking about the Oscars. Some stuff we missed about the Crow.
Yeah, go ahead.
There you go.
Oh yeah, get on camera.
Hey everyone, this is Scotty at the Cult Movie Cantina. We're going to talk about the Oscars. We're going to talk about what we missed about on The Crow from last week's episode. Bruce Willis has some terrible news, so we're going to talk about Bruce Willis. Yeah, we got some terrible news about what happened to Bruce Willis, so we're going to talk about that, and we're going to talk about what we're going to watch the following next. It's a sinking kind of feeling kind of movie for next week, so that's what we're going to do.
Almost, yeah. Get some Lost Ark vibes from the next film that we're watching. I'll explain that off camera.
I don't know what.
I'll explain it off
I
camera.
don't know what they do in their free time. That's between.
And so, and then also we have My Star Wars Life, where I think we're probably going to talk about some of the news that we've gotten this week, like that we've already talked about here. We're probably going to talk about the Obi-Wan getting pushed. Yeah. There's not a lot. It's 2 days.
Yeah,
That was our reaction. It's just 2 days. And we're getting another episode as part of that. So I think it's a marketing thing for celebration.
I think better to put it out before celebration, so people are talking about it during celebration instead of worrying about how they're going to watch it before they see it at celebration.
Yeah. And then but yeah. And also Tuesdays with Scotty's is starting.
Starting next week.
Yep, starting next week. And so that's going to be a brand new show where Scotty's going to just talk about whatever he feels like. And I'm on it as well. And we bring in a guest every week, and we get to hear some stuff about them and their lives. And it's a good show. We've recorded a few episodes, and it's been a lot of fun. And if you're in the Mobile, Alabama area, come check out Gamers and Geeks, where you can, it's a basically one-stop shop for all your gaming needs, pretty much. If you like tabletop, if you like trading card games, if you like your minis, because I know right now, today, they're doing a Warhammer thing, I think, is what I saw.
They're doing a model contest.
Model contest.
You build your model and they judge you.
Yeah, so, okay, so, yeah, build your model, get it paint. I'm guessing painting is part of it. Yeah, so there you go. So a lot of stuff goes on. I know they do Sundays. They have D&D Adventures League, and I know in June they're having an anime convention. So there's a lot to look forward to. Also, if you like classic arcade games, in the back they've got $10 for the day free play arcade games. Just pay $10, get a wristband, and play with whatever games you want that they have available. Some of the games aren't fixed to do free play yet, but you don't have to play those. And they are also connected to what's the video game? Engage Gaming. We share the same building as them. They let you you can do a monthly fee, and you're able to play PlayStation, Xbox, PC, VR, whatever they have. Pick a game you want to play. I think you can switch out games. I haven't tested it yet. It's something I've been curious about just for the VR headset. Although I know somebody with a VR headset, so I should just let me borrow it. Because I want to play. I want to play Vader Immortal and Tales from Galaxy's Edge.
I think I got a chance to play through the tutorial of that recently.
Tales from Galaxy's Edge?
Yeah.
Yeah. I have Vader Immortal for the PlayStation, but I don't have a PSVR headset.
I'll tell you this.
Yeah.
Tales is fun, presuming that you're not like me and accidentally drop your gun and forget where it is halfway through.
But yeah, So a lot of fun stuff. Thank you guys for watching. Oh, also be sure to check out my books. If you are watching on YouTube, the links to them are in the description. I have written 3 books, and I'm currently working on more. I will give more details when we get further in on my writing. I have plans for this year. Well, I'm working on a couple things. So one thing I do want to announce is I'm working on an audiobook for my first book, Super Worlds. I've gotten together with my narrator, and we are working on getting that put together.
That's good.
And so Super Worlds is, if you like, the best way to describe it is if you like a Marvel film and Star Wars and you wanted to combine them, that's Super Worlds. You got superheroes in a sci-fi story.
That's a pretty apt description of the setting.
And the Coat Wars is a collection of short stories within that universe. A little bit of prequel stuff, get to know the characters that you read in Super Worlds, as well as a little bit more of hints of what's to come.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last book is Time Ninja. It's a little bit of fantasy, sci-fi set in a ancient, not quite ancient Japan setting, but like classical Japan. I would say like what's, because you have samurai, and so classic Japan setting. And a little bit of Highlander inspiration there for those of you who know that, and a little bit of just enjoyment of time travel fiction in general and playing with the rules of time travel. All right. Well, I will see you guys next time, and where we're going to read the High Republic Volume 1. Hey everybody, welcome back to Escape Reality Star Wars Talk.
Yeah, we're back.
It's another
And
episode.
We got,
There's some news.
yeah.
There's actually a good bit of news. And then of course we got our review. So we'll start with the news.
As always.
Yeah, and we'll kind of go from there.
Yeah.
So what do we want to talk about first? Because there's some good stuff to talk about.
Let's start with them moving the release.
Yes. So I think it's common knowledge for a lot of people in the same that are as interested in Star Wars as we are, that Obi-Wan Kenobi's release date has been pushed.
Yep.
It was going to be the 25th of May, which was they moved it to the 27th.
They moved it 2 days.
They moved it 2 days. They moved it to the Friday. Because it was the Wednesday, which is what Disney Plus has been doing, is Wednesday release dates. But they moved it to the Friday. But, well, don't be completely disappointed that they moved it, because now we're getting 2 episodes, because they're going to drop both.
To be honest, even if they hadn't, I would still personally be fine with that, because I'm like, 2 more days. You can wait 2 more days.
So, there's a lot of reasons that they could have done this. One of them is that Celebration is that week. And so what better plan than to wait until the actual Celebration weekend? Because Thursday's the first day of Celebration. So make Friday, everybody's going to be talking about Obi-Wan.
Get the hype train rolling, I guess.
Yeah. Get everybody talking about it.
Yeah, build up that anticipation.
And also, more than likely, they'll have a panel on Friday.
Yeah.
So maybe a watch together? Because they've done that before.
Maybe.
Usually, though, they do watch togethers before the show comes out. So, because with Rebels, they used to at least air the first episode, is what they would do. Or sometimes the first couple episodes, depending. Season 4 was just the first episode. That was the year I went. And they only did the first episode, which sucked because it was left on a big cliffhanger.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, because you think that you are led to believe that Sabine's mom and brother were killed. And then that's it. That's the end of the first half.
I was going to be really rude just now, and...
Sabine's the Mandalorian.
Okay.
Were you about to ask who that was?
No, it wasn't that. And we care why?
Because Sabine's main character status, and also...
I see.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's one reason that they could have done it. Another is people are thinking maybe they're trying to push the Obi-Wan episodes out a little faster, so to make way for Bad Batch.
Maybe.
Because we don't know when Bad Batch is coming anymore.
Yeah. They're like, if we shuffle the schedule around enough, they'll never know.
Yeah. Another theory is, I forget what Marvel show is supposed to be out at that point. I think it's Miss Marvel.
Yeah, I could see.
They're trying to make sure that they don't overlap too hard.
Yeah.
Let's see. April, May. No, because Miss Marvel's not till June. I don't know. Yeah. But yeah. Oh man, I forgot Chippendale is coming that soon. Anyways, back to Star Wars specifically though.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of reasons they could have done it. They might be trying to bring back Fridays.
Maybe.
Because that was originally the release date for Disney Plus shows. It was originally Fridays. And then they switched it to Wednesdays during Loki.
I've made my thoughts clear on Marvel before.
Yeah, you're not
on the podcast,
not on the podcast, but to me, yeah, you are not the biggest Marvel fan. Like you will. They're not that you don't like. It's not that you. Yeah, it's not
an apathy.
Yeah, it just doesn't intrigue you.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
Like there are good stories.
Yeah.
And there are ones that are worth time.
But
then there are
yeah.
ones where I'm like, you didn't have to
But-
do all this.
But maybe they're trying to bring Fridays back,
Maybe.
which I wouldn't be angry at because Wednesdays is kind of hard to.
It's also in the Wednesday is in the middle of the week, and if you've got stuff to do on Wednesday, you're like,
You're not going to immediately watch it.
Yeah.
Uh,
But on Friday, that's like the end of the week, so you're like, I'm not going anywhere. I don't
Yeah,
have to be
like-
up early Saturday,
yeah.
so I can just stay up late and watch it.
Yeah. Or you do what I do and get it when you get up, you watch it while you're getting ready for work, which is what I did both Wednesdays and Fridays. But it's easier to get away with Friday than it is Wednesdays. It feels like I don't know. But yeah, so Kenobi got moved, for the most part, not a big deal.
Yeah, that's not like it got moved 2 days. What, you gonna whine about that?
Yeah. So I guess since we're talking about Disney Plus, we'll keep on that.
Yeah.
Mando season 3 wrapped production.
Yeah.
Carl Weathers basically confirmed
Mm-hmm.
because he plays. I forget the character's name all of a sudden. I'm having a morning.
I think it was Grief Cargo.
Yeah, Grief Cargo. Yeah,
in the article.
yeah, you're right. Grief Cargo. Yeah. So he plays Grief
I
Cargo.
know that name is important, but I don't know who
Yeah,
that is.
yeah, because you have not watched the show yet.
I'm like, who the fuck are you? You're important. I don't know why you're important.
It's great.
Do you have an object? Do you have the MacGuffin or no?
He is essentially a governor.
Okay.
Yeah. And so he's like a secondary character.
Mm.
Buddy to the Mando.
All right.
And so Grief Karga himself basically confirmed, hey, we finished wrapping season 3, and so there you go. So
Alright.
season 3 is getting closer to being out. More than likely it'll be November, December. This is probably when it'll be.
Yeah. Hopefully Mando manages to take a bath by then.
Did you watch that video too? I
No.
saw a video that was making fun of the fact that since his creed is never to take off his helmet,
Oh.
when he finally takes it off, imagine that stench.
It's fucking stinky. It's gonna come out.
But I think specifically the creed is to not take it off in front of people,
Yeah.
because we do see him take it off in the show. You
Yeah. Of course.
haven't seen yet, but we see him take it off. We just don't see his face until later, and he basically doesn't take it off himself until like.
I assume it's more like.
But yeah, so more.
Takes a shower, but he has to keep
Keep the helmet on. But yeah, so Mando season 3 wrapped. Hey, so 2 shows to get excited about. I mean, obviously we also have Andor, which I'm excited about because I personally want to see a spy. I know you want to see a spy show in Star Wars.
Yeah. Wonder how well that's gonna work out.
So yeah. All right. Well, last but not least on news, so StarWars.com released an excerpt as they tend to do every now and then. They've been doing that a lot lately though, because last week we had Shadows of the Sith. This week we got Brotherhood, and this time we actually had time to actually read, not skim it, because I just skimmed it last time. This time I read it.
Yeah.
And so did you, and it's. The conflict of Brotherhood is that this takes place immediately after episode 2.
All right.
And it is the Cato Nemoidia affair that they reference in Revenge of the Sith.
Okay.
So it's the one that doesn't count. That affair on Cato Nemoidia doesn't count.
Yeah.
So we're getting that story, and apparently as part of that story, we get to see the first time Obi-Wan meets Ventress.
Yeah.
And the excerpt for this is amazing.
It's great.
It's exactly what you would want for the first time of Obi-Wan and Ventress meeting.
It's
Like, there's some flirting, there's some teasing, there's some I hate you, but I also don't know you well enough to hate you completely yet.
It would be like if you and someone had like a date set up by the government, but both of you knew each other like from hearsay, and you didn't like what you heard.
Yeah, because Ventress references that Dooku's talked about Obi-Wan and the Jedi as a whole.
Yeah. Oh well, thinking about that's right, because she's like, yeah, I heard about Dooku, and
I've heard about you through Dooku.
I was like, wait a minute. Thinking about it now, I would be like, that'd be like if your grandpa talked shit to the girl you were gonna go on a date with.
That's exactly that, because Dooku is basically Obi-Wan's Jedi grandpa.
Yeah. They're having what they're actually here to be doing is overseeing a disaster relief effort, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like essentially
because they're trying to figure out there was a bombing.
Yeah.
And they're trying to figure out what happened. They're trying to figure out what happened. And so
and they're like, all right, which side did this essentially? Like, who's trying to do
who's
what?
behind this? And so obviously the Nemoidians decide, well, we're going to bring both sides in to investigate. That way, if there's foul play between one of the other sides, then they'll catch each other. And it's a good way to keep it impartial.
Mm-hmm.
So the Jedi and the Republic send Obi-Wan, and the Separatists and Dooku send Ventress.
Yep.
And so we kind of get to see their dynamic play out a little bit. And
oh, it's great. They're just like having this like really tense conversation of like, man, I sure fucking hope you didn't do this.
yeah.
I sure fucking hope you didn't do this, because it's not going to be good for either of them.
Yeah, because basically they're like, I don't want to fight you unless I have to.
Yeah.
Because they still don't know each other well enough to where this isn't the dynamic we see in Clone Wars yet.
This isn't, I can take you, don't care.
Yeah, this isn't Clone Wars where they're constantly like, I'm going to kill you. This is, I'm not quite sure how I feel about you yet. But I like it. I think it's a good intro to their dynamic. I'm interested to see them working together.
Yeah.
Because like we said, they're working together on this case. Now, obviously, one of them is a big fat liar, Ventress. Because more than likely the Separatists are behind this.
Alternatively, it'd be real weird if the Cato Nemoidians were like, yeah, we did it to ourselves. Which would be very strange.
But there's a lot to look forward to in this book besides this. I mean, because we've also been confirmed that we're going to see the knighting of Anakin in this book. Something that we've only seen in the 2003 Clone Wars cartoon, which is no longer canon.
I think I remember that, actually.
That'd be the Gindi one.
Yeah. It was a weird fever dream, but I remember it.
Yeah, it's the Gindi one, Samurai Jack looking.
Yeah. Man, Genndy Tartakovsky is very amazing.
He's so...
But Jesus Christ, does he fucking hate dialogue.
I think, though, well, I mean, he's also... I was gonna say dialogue. It kind of works a lot of his stuff that doesn't have dialogue. Like, hell, he's made an entire show that's no dialogue. I don't know if you checked out Primal.
Oh, no, I haven't. I want to, but I haven't.
It's literally no dialogue, just like emotions, music, facial expressions. It's man and dino, like a boy and his dog type story. It's very brutal though.
Well, yeah.
But like, because it's an Adult Swim show. It's very brutal, but it's like emotional at the like it's brutal to get the emotions going, and it's like gets you to feel for the characters. But yeah.
All right.
So that is the news for this week. I guess we'll get into our review as normal. So this week we read the short stories that are in Star Wars Insiders. Starlight, First Duty, Part 1 and 2.
Yeah.
So this is, once again, we're kind of still in chronological order again.
Yep.
We're in the High Republic era. This takes place... Actually, let me check, because I've written a timeline out, because I've got a set for the season finale, because...
It happens before...
It happens before the Republic Fair.
And before the fall of Starlight Beacon.
Well, yeah, if it's before the Republic Fair, it's before... and it's before the ending of the first 6 issues of the comic, which is why the comic is next week.
I would say that takes place before the stuff that happens at a Maxine station.
So it is actually after, because it's after Go Together, because Go Together ends after all of the Wave 1 books.
Okay.
Because, well, Part 1 happens before, obviously. Part 1 is of Go Together was before Light of the Jedi.
Yeah.
And then Part 2 was after Light of the Jedi, which is after Into the Dark and A Test of Courage, because all 3 of those end at the same point.
So it's after the Maxine station incident.
Oh, I thought you said before for some reason.
No.
So yeah. Yeah. So, because it's after Go Together, so it's automatically after Into the Dark.
Still pissed about what they did to Dez.
And we still don't know what's going to happen to him yet.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Hope he's okay.
So, that kind of puts us in the time framing. So, we're before a lot of the big stuff.
Yeah.
But after some of those, like,
people are
after,
like, man, some weird shit's going on.
Yeah. They still don't quite know about, like, they know the Nihil are a problem, but they don't know the Nihil are exactly causing as big of a problem as they are.
Yeah, the problem isn't as extensive at this point.
All right. So, with First Duty, we meet our main character, Velko Jaheen, who is just arrived to Starlight Beacon to take up the post as the administrator and aide to Controller Rodor Keen.
Yep.
Rodor Keen is basically the one in charge of the Republic side of Starlight Beacon, because Starlight Beacon is a co-op between the Republic and the Jedi. Yeah. We meet Astala Maru, who is the Jedi counterpart.
Oh, this has nothing to do with the introductions of who's there, but it is important to know about Mrs. Kaheen.
Jaheen.
Jaheen, not Kaheen. Who the fuck?
You were mixing Velko and Jaheen into one name.
Yeah. I think she's from the same planet as that fucked up mad scientist lady.
Let me double check.
Because they both say they're from a Soika.
Yeah, she's a Soikan. That is correct.
Yeah. And I think she fought for an insurgent group?
Velko?
Yeah.
Let me double check again. You probably are correct. You tend to get the smaller details a little bit more quickly than I do.
I might be wrong, though.
Let's see.
Because there's a, like, brief discussion between her and the nurse that, like, takes her to everybody important. And it was either that or one of the other people who's like, so which side did you fight on? And they're like, well, clearly it was this one. And she's like, no, it's the other one.
I don't see anything specific in her Wikipedia article, but you are probably correct. You are probably correct, though. But yes, so,
and she's like, I've never seen a place this clean in all my life.
Yeah. And we also meet the junior nurse Okana, as well as the senior doctor Ganole.
Yeah.
However you want to pronounce it.
I will say this. You know my thoughts on cybernetics.
In the case of Ganole, it's necessary.
Ganole, I believe it's necessary.
Because he is a snake person?
Yes.
And it's like, I need limbs to be a doctor.
Yep.
Because it's that snake race that we saw in Clone Wars.
Yeah. So, I've expressed this on the podcast before, I think.
Your dislike for cybernetics?
No, not my dislike for them.
Oh.
But, like, my reasonings for why people should and should not have them.
Yeah. Yeah, you talked about them.
Over that again.
If you want to, you can, because, we get new people every now and then.
So for those that don't know, my rule on cybernetics is if you need them, go get them. But if you have all, like, your digits and stuff and you don't need them for stuff that you would do on the day-to-day basis, then maybe don't.
Yeah, so I gotcha.
And, like, I understand that some people are like, let's push it a little bit further than that.
But
that's not relevant to the story.
So along with, meeting, obviously, as part of her introduction to Starlight Beacon, they are like, hey, since you're going to be the administrator, you're going to need to know our chief of security.
Yeah.
And so Velko meets Gal Tarpfin, and they quickly become friends. Very, very quickly, which is good. And Gal is like, well, I'll give you a little bit of a tour, and we'll look around. I'll show you the area. And that's where we meet. That's where where Velko meets the doctors, because they walk by the lab and all that, and the patient's room.
Yeah. She's also taken aback by that as well, since she's like, I've never seen some place this advanced with this many people being cared for.
Yeah, because it's basically a big.
Once again, she's from War Planet.
Yeah, and there's like a lot of and we talked about like how Starlight Beacon basically has to have everything in order to function.
Its job.
Yeah, in order to function the way it's ideally supposed to. And so that requires them having top of the line medical attention, medical facility rather, and also atop of like realizing that your medical facility also has to be able to cater to basically every species.
Yeah.
And that is important because we meet a ambassador from Skimbo named Surreal, who is insistent that a rival race, the Hassarians, plan to deal.
Thing is, they're like, man, they ain't gonna do shit. One of them is like in a full body cast, and the other one is barely breathing.
Yep.
They're not gonna do a damn thing to you.
And also not only that, they are basically our main characters are pretty insistent. They're like, look, you got your bodyguard droid.
And he's like, but none of his guns work.
And it's like, well, they don't need to work.
Yeah.
They're like, you are in the safest place that you could be.
Yeah. Plus, he's also got those big fuck off pincers. What the hell, man?
Yeah. Like, they're basically like, look, if something does happen, it would surprise us, but we can also deal with it if something happens.
They're like, we're pretty sure nothing's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Can
yeah, go ahead.
I think one of them, it's the like Republican administrator. Their name is like Keen, right? Keen.
Yeah, you're talking about Rodor Keen. Yeah, the controller.
I understand he's trying to do his job, but would he please shut the fuck up?
Yeah.
I understand time
like
and place. And
so for the audience, you want to specify like.
So what Keen does is complain all throughout these two damn stories.
Especially to poor Maru, who has to like.
Maru has to like. There's a weird like.
Because they're both.
They do the same job.
Yes, they do the same job, but for different people, and so that means that there's a lot of headbutting because they're like, well, I'm in charge. Well, I'm also in charge. Except Maru actually doesn't care.